Hello there, welcome to Uncertainty Principle. Now in this video, I'm trying to show around this new MCP server called Google Docs MCP server. Now, the intended usage for this MCP server is to allow you to basically have control over your docs and the related drive files, so you don't have to tab around between maybe working on your code editor and you don't want to leave to go to Google Docs to add some notes or some modifications, so you don't have to do it anymore now. The MCP server does it for you, and I'm doing it as an open source MCP server, which you could basically see in here. In this case here, my I client is a codex. uh, Among the registered tools now, it has about 50 tools, like you could see, for example, create doc, delete doc, copy doc, list recent docs, search docs, insertion, insert text, formatting, format bold, reading, extraction, and a bunch of other tools. So it has basically all the tools you could ask for this kind of MCP server, Gold MCP server. Right now, I have connected successfully to my Google account, which Gmail I have signed up with. You could see here it's saying it authenticated successfully. The token is stored in my computer. So each time you'd like to use this MCP server, well, first of all, you would have to download the package, which I would make as a Python package, or instead as a VS Code extension, in which case, in order for the MCP server, like the tools you would define, like the I client to have access to your Google Docs files, you'd have to sign up. So you'd be redirected to dialog, what do you call it? You'd be redirected to log in with your account, then at that time, a token will be registered in your computer, therefore giving your MCP server basically all the access you would need to your Google Docs. Even though in this case, I did try to limit the access to basically just two scopes, like just for your Google Docs. Like the AI client in this case could have basically access to your Google Docs files. It could read, write, modify, and do all the applicable stuff modifications. And as for the other API, the other scope, it's for just the Google Docs, which is living in the drive in the cloud. You were storing your what do you call it, your files. If you use another cloud, like for example, I don't know, what do you call the other cloud providers, like cloud. So yeah, as I was saying, if you're using another cloud providers like Dropbox or others, I don't think that's going to work because in this case, I did define the usage with Google Drive files, so it won't work unless the files are stored on Drive. But anyway, if you're just a regular user and you don't tap around between cloud providers like Dropbox or others, I think the default cloud provider for your Google Docs files, it's Google Drive anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. Now in this case, you could see, for example, the document ID in this case, this one, you could see my AI client is basically just adding characters more and more. Like I'm giving it some prompt. Now you could see here, I just kind of tell it, all right, I'd like you to do some modifications on it, like renaming the title of the file to Google Docs, then write a fictional introduction and chapter for a novel in it about detective in Africa. So you could see I didn't actually move from here. I just leave the AI client, the LLM in this case codex, just to have basically a rent free over the Google Docs files. Of course, there are some built-in safety tools, so it doesn't do any destructive modifications, like for example, to delete your files without you knowing. Because anyway, all the tools are defined with a schema, so anytime Google Codex or Cloud Code or Copilot or any iClient is trying to use the tool, it will first have to read like the schema for the tool, therefore acting. Like now in this case, it's trying to ask me to allow it to use this tool called apply heading style. Now let me allow in this case. You could basically see how it's kind of working. Now it does have a lot of tools, like about 50, so there are a lot. You could see here the returning result is that the story is now in place about 1020 words, and very metadata confirms the current file name is google-docs-mcp server. The server has not renamed tool, so I'm using its native copy cooperation to provide the requested Google Docs. Now let me hop over to the actual created story. You could kind of see here, I didn't have to write this all down all myself, so I just kind of give the LLM some basic prompts like, alright, I just write a fictional story of a detective in Africa. So here are the results. It's kind of look good. I didn't read all of it, but anyway, the purpose of the video is not to have uh, a coherent story. It's just to kind of show around how the MCP server works. So I think that's about for this video. I'll catch you on another one.